As you might expect from an action RPG, Harbinger has plenty of different weapons, armor, and miscellaneous items to choose from. Each of the game's playable characters can make use of ranged weapons to attack from a distance, as well as lay traps on the ground to damage and ensnare enemies. Like in the game Diablo 2, you point and click to move your character, and the game also lets you click and hold your mouse button to continuously walk or attack, rather than forcing you to click repeatedly. Harbinger is scheduled to ship for the PC this week. Finally, from our new release section, Microsoft is releasing Kung Fu Chaos for the Xbox, a lighthearted brawler with single and multiplayer modes of play. Let's take a look.
Everybody was
Kung Fu Chaos's premise is shaped by a thin plot that's light on logic, much like the movies that inspired it. That'll help you explain why you'll find yourself in some truly bizarre situations. You take the role of an actor who's a cog in director Shao Ting's comeback vehicle, Kung Fu Chaos. Unfortunately, Ting isn't big on originality, which means his opus will be one of the most derivative in film history, and given the familiar nature of most Kung Fu movies, that's saying something. Kung Fu Chaos offers 6 gameplay modes and a bonus features option that will let you access a variety of extras in the game. Ninja Challenge is the game's single-player story mode, and it lets you take one of the game's eccentric cast members through a series of film shoots that make up Shao Ting's film. The shoots are done on a variety of sets that change dynamically as the fight progresses. The zany levels run the gamut from the types of levels you'd expect to find in a kung fu movie to parodies of movies such as Titanic and Jurassic Park, complete with an iceberg and a dinosaur, respectively. The sets force you to balance beating your foes with avoiding environmental hazards and keeping up with forced scrolling on many of the levels. Battle Game, Championship, and Miniseries modes offer various multiplayer games for up to 4 players, and the games range from standard brawls to playing through some of the mini-games you'll encounter in the single-player game. You can perform combos and various attacks with a simple combination of the Xbox controller's face buttons. The right trigger will block, and the left trigger will taunt your opponent. The audio in the game manages to set the tone right off the bat thanks to the inclusion of the cheesy classic song Kung Fu Fighting, which plays during the goofy intro cinema that also serves as a trailer for the film you'll be making in the game. Funny commentary from Ting accompanies the game's replays. Kung Fu Chaos is scheduled for release this week exclusively for the Xbox, and we recommend you wait for our review before deciding to pick this one up. Now it's time to see what our good man Giancarlo has for us in the news department. Do it, Rockapella!
Konami of Europe has announced that Silent Hill 3 will be released in Europe on May 23rd, before the release of the North American and Japanese versions of the game. In Silent Hill 3, players take control of a woman named Heather, who ventures through a town only to find that it's being overrun by a group of incredibly strange creatures. The development team has constructed an entirely new engine for the game that has enabled them to construct highly detailed character models and environments. The game also features proprietary audio technology that mimics the surround sound experience. Silent Hill 3 is scheduled for release in North America in August. Ubisoft has announced that the PlayStation 2 version of Splinter Cell will ship on April 8th. The PlayStation 2 version of the popular Xbox stealth action game will have a number of new features, including 4 new levels in the power plant mission, 30 minutes worth of new cinematics, a new introduction cinematic featuring music from the Prague Orchestra, and binocular vision. Splinter Cell for the PlayStation 2 will also include support for Dolby Pro Logic 2. We'll have more on the PlayStation 2 version of Splinter Cell soon. In the meantime, check out our full review of the Xbox version of the game. Konami has confirmed that the PC version of Metal Gear Solid 2 Substance is due out in mid-March. While the PC version was announced at E3 2002, little has been heard about it since. What is known is that the PC version of MGS2 Substance will be quite similar to the Xbox game, and it will contain not only the story-based campaign from MGS2 Sons of Liberty, released for the PlayStation 2 at the end of 2001, but also the puzzle-based VR missions and other additional content. The PC version will support higher resolutions, but Konami hasn't released other details on how the game will differ from the Xbox version, if it will at all. For more details, check out our previous coverage of Metal Gear Solid 2 for the Xbox and PS2. Activision recently revealed the first details on the game Empire's Dawn of the Modern World, the latest game from Stainless Steel, the studio behind Empire Earth. Empires will have an epic scope that focuses on the last 1,000 years of history. As they advance through eras, players will command medieval troops like longbowmen and charging knights, and the signature land, air, and sea units of World War II, such as Tiger tanks, stormtroopers, Spitfires, and submarines. Players will also be able to build up massive empires by utilizing each civilization's totally unique and distinct historical abilities, battlefield weapons, and special technologies. We'll have more on Empires as details become available. Sega and Nintendo have released new information for both the arcade and GameCube versions of F-Zero, which are currently in development at Amusement Vision Studio within Sega. Most notably, a new trailer showcasing the game has been released, and it is now known that the arcade version of the game will feature a sit-down cabinet with a moving cockpit. New details such as background information on some of the drivers and tracks in the game have also been revealed. The site also reconfirmed the ability to use data from the GameCube version of F-Zero in the arcade cabinet. We'll have more information on F-Zero as it develops.
This past week we had a few guests from Jamdat Mobile stop by our studios to give us a look at the latest in mobile phone gaming. Here's a look at a few of the high-profile titles they had to show off.
For North American market, we have 26 games that are active right now, and
some of the biggest titles out there.
We have some pretty successful titles. We have some pretty cool brands. We have FIFA World Cup, Tiger Woods, Tony Hawk, Pro Skater 4 for mobile. I can show you that.
Yeah,
I can show you an early look at our new side-scrolling version. This takes all of the kind of the street elements, doing like manuals and grinds, etc.
The controls, what can you do? You can move around.
What you do is you can move left and you can move right and you can move up and you can move down. So for example, there I am skating along. Okay, I can turn around.
Nice.
I can get some air. I can do a grind. There's a nose manual. Oh, and I'm going to jump out of that. So you see, we're kind of taking steps forward. Fast frame rate. You collect stuff. We have Kelly Slater coming out in the short term. Another Tony Hawk SKU coming out in the short term. We have Scrabble. We have Neverwinter Nights.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we're making a very robust D&D game,
Wow.
where again it uses the client server type technology to make a very robust, very vast world with a narrative that you would expect from Neverwinter Nights. Neverwinter Nights will be middle of the year. We're looking around April, and we have a robust baseball game coming out in that time frame as well. So we have a strong sports focus. We have a coming out for next football season. We have an 11-on-11 player football simulation. This will be available on Verizon's Get It Now service, and the consumer who buys a phone like this, or any of the phones that Verizon supplies, or any other carrier who uses Brew, will be able to very easily download the game, get the client on their phone, and start battling online with their foes.
So it's totally free?
No, it's not totally free.
Oh, yeah.
That's what's great about Brew, is actually there's a billing model. It's going to be a couple dollars a month for subscription.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, it's time now for this week's trivia contest. First, let's announce the winners from last week. Anthony Candelario from Kansas, Scott Sofer from New York, and Brian Newton from California were randomly selected from the pool of correct responses. You'll be receiving an attractive shirt shortly. A lot of people missed that thrill kill question last week. Make no mistake, that's a good thing. The less you know about that lame fighting game, the better off you are. Trust me, it's... Whew. Anyway, this week we're going to give away some more shirts and prizes, so if you didn't win last week, here's another chance. Here's how it works. We're going to ask you a few general questions that test your gaming and your general knowledge. If you know the answers, you can send them in for a chance to win some prizes. You ready? Here we go. Question number 1. What's the name of the director character found in Microsoft's Kung Fu Chaos? Question 2. What real-world animal is the new race from the new EverQuest expansion based upon? Question number 3. Which popular Nintendo game is becoming part of a GameCube bundle package in Europe on March 21st? Question number 4. What game had me and Capcom PR assassin Matt Atwood hanging out in the Capcom parking lot in our underwear in last weekend's Gamespotting Live? And question number 5. According to the tagline of the hit Sylvester Stallone film Cobra, Sly's character is the cure to what disease? If you know all the answers to the questions, please send them in to gslive@gamespot.com. Be sure to include your name and address, and we'll randomly select 3 winners to receive a prize. Okay, that's all we got this time around, but as I'm sure you're well aware, keep checking out this every day for the latest news, reviews, and previews from the world of video gaming. We'll be back next week, but until then, I'm Jeff Gersman reminding you that driving games that bother to render the driver in the seat of the car, but can't be bothered to animate him steering, have no place in modern society. Good night.